All right, so we got our route set up last time, but I put it in the wrong place. You might have noticed. I put it in the source folder instead of in the app folder, so I'm just going to drag this entire folder right into app. Otherwise, it won't exist. So we need to make sure it's inside of, we should delete this API folder here. Wait, did I just drag it the wrong? Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. New folder API, and then drag this back into here. There we go. All right, so now it's in the right place. So the next thing I want to do is set up our logic for importing our blob or adding to our blob. This is our blob here, overview, storage. It's all set up here. Oh, sorry, actually, we already have that. What we need to do now is actually get it to save to our blob by doing the post request. So in order to pass this, we have to use form data, which is JavaScript form data. We're going to create a form, and then we're going to pass that form into our request. So if we go to, we'll do this in our context, actually. We go to our profile context here. And I want to add a new property here to this. That's going to be update profile. And it's going to be a function. We need to properly type our function. You can't use this typing for functions. It's very odd, but we can't use this typing for functions. So instead, what we're going to do is we have to type it by putting the arguments and everything in. So the arguments are going to be profile, which will be a profile, and avatar, which is going to be an image or file or undefined, because it can be undefined. And then now you see down here it's saying we have to also have the profile, the function passed out now. So it's missing that. So what we need to do is pass a function here. We'll create the function inside of the provider. Function update profile. And then the update profile will have the same properties here. I'll just copy this entire thing and put that here. And we need the return type as well. Return type is void. And now I can pass this here, update profile, and now we're good. So the props need to align with the value that's being sent back in the provider. So what is our update profile doing? Well, it needs to send a request to our route. It needs to send a post request because our route, remember, our route is a post request. So fetch, so we'll say const res equals fetch, and then it's going to be /API/avatar. And then here we'll add method post. So it's a post method post. And then we need to attach form body. So let's create our form data. Const form data equals new form data, just like this. And then we can append things on. So we're going to append the ID, which is from the profile. So form data dot append ID, and that's going to be profile.id. Okay, profile cannot be null to call this function, and we should have already checked that, so I'm not worried about that. Oh, actually, we'll check it when we call the function as well, I think. And then next line, form data dot append, and it's expecting something called image, so we're going to say image avatar. Now, it's not going to like this because it could be undefined. So what we need to do is we only want to call this if there's an avatar. So we'll say if avatar, then we're going to do all this work. There's no reason to send this request if they didn't attach an avatar image, right? The only way we'd ever make this call is if they attach the image. Then we want to make this call, this post call. We'll make this async, and then we'll say await fetch. Okay, so it's awaiting this fetch. The res is going to, if it works correctly, it should return the JSON with the URL from our blob. So we're going to say const data equals await res.json. And then our URL is going to be the data.avatar URL. The data.avatar URL. But what I'm going to do is, I think this is decent enough. We'll say avatar, if avatar let avatar URL of type string or null equal null. So we're going to set it to null. And then if we do all this work, we'll set the avatar URL to equal the data.avatar URL. And that should give us a URL. Let's go ahead and try that. That was a lot of work I just did. I want to test it before I move on to the next, not const, console log. Console.log avatar URL, like that. Okay. So now how do I use this function that I just created? Well, it's exported now from our context provider, which means inside of our profile, we have this handle save that we created last time. And I can call that update profile function, but I have to import it along with this. So update profile, it's going to be imported from our used profile from our context. So now we have access to that update profile. Now when I click handle save, I'm going to say if there's a profile, then we want to call that update profile. We need to pass in the profile and we need to pass in the avatar. Just like that. Now when I click the save button, it's calling handle save, which is checking if there's a profile, and then calling update profile, which is creating a form and then sending it in a post request to our route. A lot going on there. Let's see if it works. Let's look at the console, save profile, failed to execute JSON on response. Dude, let's look at the network here. What happened? Internal server error. Oh, I forgot to put the body in. I forgot to put the body into here. So here we want to say body is form data. There we go. Let's try this again. There we go. So now in the response, we should see an avatar URL. We should be able to go back to our blob storage and we should see inside of our blob, it just created this avatar image here, which for some reason it's not previewing. There it is. So this is now uploaded. And in our console, we should see that avatar URL right here. So this is our permanent URL. Very cool. If I try to save again, I think I get an error. Yeah. So what the error is allow overwrite. We have to, the blob already exists. We need to add allow overwrite true. And I want to do that because they should be able to overwrite their avatar. They should be able to without creating a new entry. So let's go back to our route. And when we send that put to the blob, here, we need to add another option besides access. It's going to be allow overwrite, and we'll say true. And now if I click save again, it'll just resave it. And if I click, if I change the image to LE save, wait, we got an issue? Hold on. Oh, is that from before? Let's try this again. Okay, let's go back to our exploration here. It might cache it, I'm not sure. Whoops, something went wrong. Oh, okay, storage, there we go. Why is it not updated? Interesting. It's like keeping it there. Is it because it's cached? Let me try opening like an incognito window real quick. There we go. All right, it's caching the image. That's a big problem. But, you know, it is what it is. We want to overwrite it because we definitely don't want them to be able to upload 1 million avatar images. I think we just got to deal with it. We'll look at how we work around. But now, okay, that's fine. If I open this here, it's correct. Okay, so it's just caching it over here. Maybe it just takes a minute. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. All right, so we're able to update the image and we get the image URL back. So the last thing we need to do is actually update our form, or sorry, update our profile. And we'll go ahead and do that in the next video because that's a little bit complicated. We have to create a new route.